that we're together. And with your permission, Jayanti, I'm just going to give a little bit of introduction to you. Is that okay? Just because not everyone knows Sister Jayanti's story. She mentioned that she grew up in Pune in India and at the age of 8 came to live in the UK. And she was just starting her degree course and she started feeling, what is the point? What am I doing this for? And she decided she wanted to reconnect with the India part of herself. So she went back to Pune and had a lovely meeting and exchange with Daddy Janki. And during the course of that, the light bulbs went off and she made a decision that this was going to be her life's work, her path. And she dedicated herself to her own spiritual endeavor and to uplifting others as well. And she settled into her love for India and what she thought was going to be a life in India, only to be told, no, actually, can you go back to London? And she was like, well, what's the point in that? No one in London is interested in meditation. This was back in 1971. And so she came on her own, and it was, I think, 4 years of just holding the space for this Raja Yoga meditation and not necessarily having queues of people lining up at the door. But then, of course, eventually things did get moving when Daddy Janki then came to London as well. And so really everything that you see here in the UK, has its origins through Sister Jayanti, who was the first pair of hands to serve here in the UK. And for those of us who've had the fortune to study alongside Sister Jayanti, she has this amazing ability to translate the deep wisdom of India in such a way as our Western intellects can really grasp and appreciate that. And she, for many years, it's 55 years now that she's been traveling around the world as a key speaker at events in every walk of life, in all spheres of society. And as Yogesh said, she's been the director for Europe and the Middle East for many years, but then recently has taken up a role as the additional administrative head of the organization, which means spending a lot more time in India. So you can imagine, if any of you are CEOs of companies, this is an organization of over 1 million people in about 120 countries. So that represents some logistical challenges. And so we really are incredibly fortunate that within that busy schedule, we have Sister Jayanti for the whole of the time that we are going to be here. So I really urge you to really take full advantage. And Sister Jayanti, we hand over to you now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Philippa. But thank you to all of you for having made the journey here. Sometimes moving from one place to another place is not just a question of the physical journey, but also the emotional and mental and psychological journey you have to undertake. So I can imagine that you've left behind many things, but also brought with you many things. So thank you for making that effort. It's a beautiful topic because the darkness of the world is something that we see, we experience, and in many ways we're impacted by that. And so there's a lovely expression that says something like, rather than curse the darkness, it's better to light a candle. And of course, in this current state of affairs of the world, it's not a physical candle that's needed, but each and everyone here is already a candle, I believe, in the criteria that was explained earlier. It is people who are servers. It is people who, in their lives, have stood by principles and have shared those principles and values with others. So you've already been a candle in the darkness. You'll hear Daddy's name many times because all of those who are here from the Brahma Kumaris have had a very close relationship with her. That's not true of everyone across the world, but certainly the people in this room have known her for decades and have benefited from many personal meetings and instructions from her. And one of the things she said is that she would come from India every year, just around this time of year, whenever we had a dialogue from all those years from 98 onwards. And she was asked at one point by someone in India, a senior, who said to her, "Daddy, you're leaving behind thousands who need you here to go for a group of 25 people. Why are you doing this?" They thought it was off the planet. They really needed her in India. And she told them, "I'm going there because these are people who serve 100,000 others." And so Daddy always saw the participants of Call of Time as having a huge impact, not just in their immediate workplace, but beyond that also. And it's true. I'm mentioning Tex by name, but I know that the leadership programs that you ran through many, many years in the corporate world have impacted definitely 100,000 others, but also others here. Jan, I know from many, many decades, and again, the leadership programs you've run have had the same impact. So this is why it's a very significant group. And the candle that you are truly has an impact, maybe beyond even your own knowing. And this is why the brighter the light that you shine, the greater the value others can take from you in whatever activity you're engaged in. Not just your work, but your family, your home, your friends, everyone who is connected with you in some way or another. The timetable that Brahma Baba instigated right from the very beginning is a timetable that encourages us to look within and be able to shine that light more and more for the self and others. And of course, light has been an image that's sacred, an image that has given inspiration to people through millennia, over the years, but also all across the world. It's a very universal image. And my understanding and my experience is that this light that is within is actually the light of the inner being, the light of the soul. And the seat of the soul is just here, in the center of the forehead. So the light that shines there radiates all around, which is why we talk about people's energy fields or people's aura. The energy of the soul is able to radiate far beyond this body and out into the room and further afield. How do I protect this light? Because it's very easy to allow the light to diminish through all the variety of influences we're exposed to. 1,000 different things can happen in the course of any one day that could diminish your light. But also, we know about those influences. What can I do to be able to increase my own inner capacity so that I am strong enough to withstand the pressure of the negativity from outside, whether it's through relationships or situations, or even the impact of what's going on in the world. So I need to have that courage, that faith, that strength to keep the light shining. But I also need to be able to increase the capacity of my own inner light. And so starting the day, as you will hear, with time for the self, reflection, time for spiritual food, nourishment for the soul, so that the soul is able to receive something fresh every single day. Of course, the luxury here will be that we have an opportunity for that input through the whole day. But even when you're back at your workplace, to be able to make time for yourself in the morning each day, and to be able to then carry those ideas that can support you and help you deal with whatever is coming from outside will be a rhythm that is something that you can take away with you. I'm sure many of you have your own spiritual disciplines and practices, and so maybe this will be just a further addition to that, or just a reminder of what you used to do and then maybe became too busy to continue with it. So starting the day with spirituality means that I'm setting the compass straight. I'm reminding myself of what is the real purpose of my existence. Why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? And to what extent I'm following that through in my life, in my behavior, in my activity. And if by chance I'm aware of the direction I need to go in, but maybe I've been sidetracked a little bit, maybe anxiety, worry, distractions, all of those things can move my attention away from the real focus and purpose. And so making time for myself each day, especially at the start of the day, is a very beautiful exercise. It's important. And then through the day, the gentle reminders that come through the music every hour here in the house will again remind you, keep the light shining. Make sure that I'm connected with myself, I'm connected to the source, I'm able to do what I need to do. The company we keep also, of course, can be either a headache, and sometimes truly a big headache, but also sometimes it can be very supportive on our spiritual journey. So here, definitely a very lovely situation in which souls who are interested in spiritual values, interested in finding solutions to the world, solutions to our own personal situations, be able to come together like-minded and support each other. And I know that the spiritual friendships that have been created through meetings at Call of Time, gatherings, have endured for many, many years in many cases. Not just friendships with us, but friendships amongst the people. And so people stay in touch with each other because they're supported in the spiritual journey, in whatever situation they are in the life outside. And so, pausing for a few minutes, here we have 3 minutes, but in some places it's just 2 minutes. And when you're at work, it might be just 1 minute, which is fine. It takes just a moment to remember. It doesn't take long to remember something, does it? A thought comes and that's it. The light is shining again. Just one thought can make it shine. But here we have the benefit of 3 minutes. And when you go away from here, you'll carry that with you, with yourself, I hope, so that you're able to remind yourself again and again of what it is that's the most important. Welcome, Mark. The food that you eat. Mandaben shared with us the concept of cooking with love and so on, and the vegetarian factor, and for those who are vegan, that also. But food has an impact, not just on your body, but on your mind. And so when it's food that's being cooked with love, then it's very conducive to be able to have a deeper meditation, a deeper connection with spiritual truth, and to be able to have the strength to move forward in that way. So that's also part of the package that's provided here. But also time for being free from other activity. So I'm sure that you have little gadgets with you, but perhaps you can let people who need to know that you're going to be a little bit slow in replying to them, that maybe you might even wait till you get home. And yes, you're accessible, you're not cutting off from anyone, but you're creating the space that you need for yourself. We forget that we need to care for ourselves. When each one of you is, as you are, a server, then we always put service first. And service comes with a lot of action usually. But in fact, service can also be just simply through the awareness, through the consciousness and the vibrations of the mind. So if I can change that from action to being, and just for a short while give myself that chance to nourish the self and recharge my own inner battery and allow this light to shine even more strongly, then I'm going to be able to benefit not just now, but carry away that experience so that I remember to make time for myself wherever it is I may be. You know, we are creatures of action, especially in modern times. But we also need to be beings, not just action-oriented, but really not just the human doing, but the human being. And so I hope that this will also give you that opportunity to have that experience. And of course, the grounds are beautiful. And whether it's sunny or rainy, I don't know. But whatever it is, just looking out even into space where you see the sky and hear the birds and see nature, that in itself pulls you out of a narrow, limited perspective into an unlimited one. So I think that will be part of the situation, the circumstances, the environment that supports your own inner journey. And I'm sure that each moment you will feel that the light is getting brighter and brighter, so that you are able to see your own path clearly. Because in a world that's very, very uncertain and volatile, it's difficult to know what's going to happen tomorrow, never mind in a month's time or further than that. Unexpected things keep happening all the time. And so if my light is shining, if I, the light, am shining, then I'll be able to navigate my way more comfortably, more easily, with greater confidence and trust, and also be able to support others around me. In so many situations today, people don't feel that support. They don't feel that there's anyone they can turn to. But if my light is shining, then I know that I can stand independently, free, without needing to bend my principles or take anything from anyone. But I can also actually be an instrument to give support to others. So welcome to the retreat center, and really lovely that you've made time to be here. I know many of you personally, and I know it's not easy. So thank you. Enjoy each moment.